Hey guys, Twitch ACB here. The Star Ocean series is a beloved JRPG franchise to me. It has gotten me to explore more games within the genre and take appreciation to what it offers. Today I will be discussing Star Ocean The Lost Hope and why this game should have been the driving force to the future Star Ocean games. It's personally my favourite of the series and it's got a lot of good ideas that could have steered the games in a different direction than what we have today. Let's start off by noting that this is the fourth console game made by Trias in the series. However, in the timelines, it is before the events of Star Ocean 1. This is because of what happened in the ending events of Star Ocean 3's story that made quite a big mess in the series continuation. So rather trying to fix that void, they decided to further explore the events before the initial timeline and gave us a soft reboot instead. We start off in Space State Calendar 10, as Edge Maverick is a part of the Encounter's crew as they take off in their first ever space exploration. Having successfully been able to warp drive in space, they find themselves in Eos as the first planet to explore. However, things don't go as planned as strange bugs start attacking the crew and Edge decides to take things into his own hands and manages to slay these creatures. From there, Edge gets assigned on a new mission alongside Raimi to discover what happened to the other ships and any new discoveries on this planet. The battle system in this game is fantastic, as there are still mechanics found in the newer games because of it. There is a tutorial menu that allows you to dive into learning the battle mechanics, which takes around 20 to 30 minutes. I would definitely recommend this to anyone starting this game off for the first time, as there are many different things to go through. On one side, you have your short and long attacks that can be performed either in semi-auto or manual states that allows the character to perform attacks on the enemy. No certain cost at all is given, and depending on the character you choose, they will attack in a certain way. Linking up these attacks, you can perform special arts that can be used to perform special techniques in battle, which does cost MP to use. All of the characters have their own varied special arts in their own department, and you can gain more different special arts by simply leveling up. Also, some of the characters can learn Symbology, which are magic attacks that require MP to use to be casted either on the enemy for elemental damage and debuffs, or on an ally for healing or buffs. One of the newest abilities added into this game was Blindside. The Blindside allows the character to catch the enemy's attention by charging up and tries to get behind an enemy once they try to get closer or attack you. This provides the character an advantage to deal critical hits on the enemy. Note that it isn't always so simple to get behind the enemy, as some enemies can easily look behind and counter you right away if they are expecting it. Another feature added was the Rush feature that either allows the characters to gain properties of not getting stunned, adding critical hits to attacks, or entering into a rush combo that brings the character together in a phase to use special arts together with the enemy. With these two new features, it brings up the new beat system that allows you to choose either BS or B that gives you extra rewards to be used in battle. BS provides more blindside effects and boosts to attack and hit parameters, and Beat B provides more rush effects and boosts to defense and guard parameters. There's a reward system that can be used in battle called Bonus Board. This allows the player to get further value if they meet a certain requirement to do so while in battle. The 4 rewards you can choose from are blue jewels that gain extra experience points, yellow jewels that increase the amount of money, pink jewel that awards extra healing at the end of the battle, and green jewel that provides extra SP to use for leveling up character skills. Note that these rewards are active for as long as you play a single session. These rewards can be taken away from the session if the player takes a critical hit or lose all of their HP from an enemy. In total, there are 9 playable characters you can choose from, and this game allows you to keep at least 8 of these characters. Generally, in the earlier Star Ocean games, you would sometimes miss out on certain playable characters depending on what choice you have decided throughout the game. Preferably, I like having characters to be automatically added and kept throughout the story. This game nearly had it up until a certain section where you had to trade one character for another due to the story events. The characters in this game may feel somewhat interchangeable individually with a few other favorites than the other Star Ocean games. However, I feel as though this game does it really well with having the best party overall. We start off with Edge Maverick as the captain of the ship. Having to take a huge responsibility for his actions and crew, he faces hard times as he has to realize throughout his journey that he can't always guarantee to make everything perfect in the end. Raimi Sionji is up next, as she is a childhood friend to Edge. Not only she keeps Edge in check, but she also needs to accept the power stored inside of her that has helped to where she is today. Faye Shifa Belev was the first alien encounter that joined the party, as he is an Eldarian. Relatively inexperienced in missions, he finds great admiration on how Edge performs his duties. Having too much admiration drives a cost on his side and realizes the heavy burden that one can take when put into a similar position. Limo is the next party member, as she is trapped in a little kid's body as she faced purgatory at a very young age. She has a hard time opening up to people at first, but grows closer together with the crew as she can now rely upon others. Bacchus is next as he comes from Morpheus, which is one of the most advanced planets in the game. He is configured inside a metallic body and proclaims that he's lost something important inside of him, but as we continue, he regains it with admiration from Edge during their time together as he grows more passion with his heart once again. Miracle is next to join the crew as she was introduced on Earth from an alternative dimension. Star enough as only trustworthy to Professor Bactine, she slowly places her trust with the crew as she starts to show his charismatic and upbeat personality. Miria joins next as she also hails from the planet Morpheus, as she was at first hunting down the person she claimed to have murdered her husband in deep space. As she learns the truth, we also learn that she is a loving person that is willing to take care of everyone as the mother in the crew. Sarah comes afterwards as she is Featherfolk that lives on the planet Roke. She may be a little slow at times, but her heart is very pure and wants to see the best out of her new friends. Lastly, we have Aramat that is from the planet Elder. He doesn't come across as a people's person, but he does slowly gain the respect for Edge on how he takes control of the situation at hand. A notable mention I will say would be Crow, who is also Edge's childhood friend, but is not a playable character. He knows Edge inside out and gives him full respect on what actions he does take throughout the game. It is a shame that the remastered version doesn't capitalize on having Crow as a playable character, as in my opinion, he's equivalent to as having Flynn in the party from Tales of Vesperia. The presentation of this game was at its best in the series. I'm a big fan of JRPGs that have surreal graphics to their overall game design. In the original Xbox 360, you can only play with this default option, which I am absolutely fine with. In the next updated versions, they added an anime UI design to the game in which players have the option to switch from the default to this. Even while this was included in, I still always favored how the original game looks, from the menus, to the environment, to the cutscenes and battles. They dug away with the style design, and I really hope they would come back to this again. I've always loved the cutscenes in this game to detail the characters' interactions as much as possible. We sometimes have intense moments in the game that pushes the narrative on the story, and other moments that are silly anime tropes that often end in lots of laughter. On top of this, each characters have their own private actions scattered throughout the game. This feature has always been a staple part in the Star Ocean games, but there are certain moments I'd love to go back to from this game because they are amazing. You get to see moments such as Amy catching Edge in the woman's bathroom while she was trying to take a shower, or Welch making fun of Sarah trying to encourage her to fly. This even allowed us to further hint shippings from FaZe and Limo when a prank didn't go as planned. There are a number of planets you are able to access. I've always liked the idea of being able to travel to different planets and seeing the different species and atmosphere they have to offer. Eos is relaxing and closer to Earth's condition of an earlier age. Lemurus is somewhat similar, but has civilization and reached a period of heavy snow conditions at the time of landing. Roke is my personal favorite, being very humid, multiple races, and having the most content that the game has to offer. Morpheus is an advanced space station with high-level infrastructure and technology for the futuristic living. And lastly, Noxicurus, which is the last chapter for the story, being filled with enemies and amazing scenery when getting further to the final boss. Another feature that I liked from this game was the bunny races. I found taking care of these bunnies adorable and liked how you get some sort of control in the races. You can boost the bunny forward while it drains stamina on a fancy styled race course to the finish. On top of the races, you can give your bunny a name and ride it around in the fields. I wish this could be expanded upon, as having to take care of pets is awesome. Another cool feature was the Coliseum, as it is split into 3 different parts, the first being able to choose solo battles to climb yourself all the way to rank 1. You can even have characters in your party to fight off against each other. The next being able to have team battles, fighting multiple enemies to reach that rank 1 spot. You can provide your team a name to show off how amazing you guys are. This also ties into a side quest of being able to fight the legendary warrior Ashley in the end that has connections in the Star Ocean 1 story. Last one is a survivor mode, as you have to survive multiple rounds against multiple enemies until the very end. The item creation feels at its best with this game. They decided to make things simple by having your characters first think of items to be created from their general field skills. Each character having their own field skills that can be leveled up to their max, then get paired up with other characters in thinking what items they need to create. Once all the ideas have been summarized, then you'll need to find the right ingredients to make that item a reality. This later goes into synthesis as a later feature that allows you to mix items together to create a new item with added bonus features. It becomes very useful for optional endgame bosses. The item creation is handled by Roach, who is always a returning character in the series that has been used as a running gag. Roach is used to help Edge with any items he needs on his journey. Roach surely has her funny moments in this game, trying to tease all of the crew members and puts a certain twist on many things that leaves them baffled most of the time. It's always great to have Roach around, especially when she is always there to help out with creating new items. While you are on the Calnus, you get to customize certain parts of the ship. They honestly make it to be treated as your new home, as you get to listen to all the cool music from this game, grab a mystery item from the box, or even have your personal vending machine that you can buy to assist you in your journey. That's just to name a few, as you can place it in the living area or have extra items placed in the bedroom. Another cool feature that was added was the bedroom plans for the characters. You get to decide on which pairings of the characters get to sleep together in the same room. At first, some pairings just doesn't work at all because of their current relationship status, but as you continue further into the game to build their relationship further, they will start to feel comfortable in sharing a room together, so you may have to wait for possible shippings or partners you have in mind as the story continues on. The field skills in this game are really cool to use in certain parts in the game. Each character has their own unique skills that can be used in the right situation. Just to name a few, we have a harvest skill that allows harvesting new items in the area, mining skill to mine new items, bunny core to core out your bunny onto the field, treasure sense of having treasures visible on the map, duplication skill to duplicate most of the items in the game, and many more. There's so many that the game has to offer, and each character having specific skills makes them all useful in their own way. Overall, there are many good features that this game has to offer, and felt like this was the best way moving forward. I have owned all different versions of this game on Xbox 360, PS3 and PC, and spent hundreds of hours on different playthroughs and difficulties, and still satisfy myself enjoying this game till this day. Let me know what you guys think about Star Ocean 4 in the comments, and hope you guys have a wonderful day.